Yesterday on First Take, you called for Cathy Engelbert's resignation from her role as WNBA Commissioner. When you hear Caitlin Clark there, how does that strike you?
Doesn't strike me at all. Same reaction. Cathy Engelbert should resign as the commissioner of the WNBA. And the reason
Ladies and gentlemen, stop everything you are doing. Turn off the TV. Put down your phone. Listen to me very carefully, because we are witnessing what could be the most self-destructive, petty, and frankly disastrous business decision in professional sports history. We thought the WNBA had hit rock bottom with the Olympic snub. We thought they hit rock bottom with the Rookie of the Year controversy. But today, they picked up a shovel and started digging even deeper. We have received explosive confirmation from multiple insiders that the WNBA League office, led by Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, has officially issued a formal warning to Caitlin Clark. And what is this warning about? Did she break a law? Did she fail a drug test? No. They warned her because she signed a historic deal with NBC Universal to serve as a broadcaster. They reportedly sent her a legal notice claiming that her partnership with NBC constitutes a conflict of interest. Let that sink in. The player who has driven unprecedented ratings and attention for your league, the player who helped elevate national coverage and contributed to massive media momentum, goes out and signs a deal to promote basketball on national television, and the response is a warning? Critics are calling it madness. They see it as a declaration of war against your own biggest asset. The debate has now spilled into major sports media circles. Prominent commentators are openly questioning the league's judgment. This isn't being viewed as a minor disagreement. It's being framed as a pivotal leadership decision. And here's the larger issue. If the WNBA believes it can pressure or intimidate its most marketable star in the middle of a media expansion era, it may be underestimating the modern power dynamic between leagues and superstar athletes. This isn't just about one contract. It's about control. It's about leverage. It's about who truly holds influence in today's sports economy. If the league miscalculates here, the consequences won't just be internal. They'll be public, financial, and long-lasting. And that's why this moment matters.
derogatory and unappreciative of the athletes that represent her league. And then the person I call the Golden Goose of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, you understand, who is box office for the WNBA. Just look at the numbers, look at the ratings, look at everything. For her to come out and say,
You know it's bad when Stephen A. Smith takes off his glasses and looks directly into the camera. And that's exactly what happened. When this news broke, Stephen A. didn't just criticize the WNBA, he demanded accountability. He looked into the camera and said, "This is egregious. This is blasphemous. And it reeks of jealousy." He didn't mince words. Stephen A. argued that Commissioner Cathy Engelbert wasn't acting like a Commissioner Shea was acting like a hall monitor. He essentially asked, "How dare you threaten the Golden Goose? You should be sending her flowers. You should be thanking her. Instead, you're sending warnings." He went further, calling the conflict of interest argument what he believes it is: flawed logic. His point? Promoting basketball helps basketball. If Caitlin Clark appears on national television, whether it's covering the Olympics or speaking on major broadcasts, while proudly representing the WNBA, that visibility is priceless. That's exposure money can't buy. And that's where the debate becomes serious. Is it truly harmful for a WNBA star to elevate her profile on a national stage? Or does that kind of spotlight expand the entire ecosystem? To illustrate the argument, critics compare it to other athletes building brands outside their primary teams. When Michael Jordan filmed Space Jam, it didn't hurt the Chicago Bulls, it amplified his global appeal. The question is whether Clark's NBC role functions the same way. Stephen A. concluded his commentary by suggesting that leadership must understand star value in a modern sports economy. His broader message was clear. If you can't recognize and maximize the impact of your biggest draw, you risk mismanaging the league's growth. Now let's set aside the emotion and look at the numbers, because this is where the conversation intensifies. Caitlin Clark's rookie salary is reportedly around $76,000 per year. In professional sports terms, that is modest, especially compared to the revenue spikes and media attention tied to her presence. Critics argue that if a league wants exclusive control over a superstar's time and brand, it must compensate accordingly. You can't expect exclusivity-level loyalty on an entry-level contract. That's a business reality across industries. From that perspective, the NBC deal isn't a side hustle. It's a major financial opportunity. And when external opportunities dramatically outweigh primary compensation, tensions naturally arise. So why would the league issue a warning knowing the backlash risk? Some believe internal dynamics may play a role. Veteran players who have spent years grinding through low salaries, overseas seasons, and limited recognition may feel frustration watching a rookie immediately receive unprecedented attention and endorsements. That emotional component cannot be ignored. There are also questions about fairness and consistency. If one player is allowed certain flexibility, how does the league manage that standard across all athletes? These are complex governance issues. But here's the central tension. Modern sports are driven by star power. Leagues grow when their biggest names grow. Restricting that growth even for contractual reasons can be perceived as resistance to progress. The WNBA now faces a leadership test. Can it balance structure with flexibility? Can it support its rising superstar while maintaining organizational integrity? Because if this situation continues escalating publicly, it won't just affect one contract. It will shape how future stars view the league. And in today's sports economy, perception is power. Perception is power. And instead of stepping up as a leader, critics argue that Cathy Engelbert caved to pressure. The warning appears to some like an attempt to appease frustrated veterans. A message to the locker room, see? I'm tough on her too. She's not above the rules. But here's the reality. Check, she is different. She's the league's biggest draw. And when you discipline your star to calm internal resentment, you risk poisoning your own foundation. You don't limit your most marketable player just to make others feel equal. That's not leadership, that's insecurity. Stephen A. Smith touched on this as well. His argument was blunt. Instead of criticizing Clark's opportunities, others should be asking how to build their own. Instead of pulling her down, recognize that rising stars can elevate everyone, including the salary cap and sponsorship visibility. Now let's talk about the legal and business reality. NBC Universal is owned by Comcast, one of the largest media corporations in the world. This isn't a minor partner. It's a global powerhouse with immense legal resources. If the WNBA were to escalate this into a contractual fight through fines, suspension, or restrictions, it wouldn't be a small dispute. It would be a corporate-level confrontation. Does the league have clear contractual grounds? That depends on the specifics of her agreement. Many professional sports contracts allow outside endorsements and media work as long as they don't directly conflict with league obligations. Broadcasting is media, not competitive play. The conflict of interest claim would have to be legally precise to hold up. And then there are the sponsors. Brands like Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson invest in star power. Their partnerships are with athletes who move markets. If a league action damages the visibility of a player they've built campaigns around, that creates ripple effects. Sponsors follow influence, and influence currently follows Clark. That's why this situation feels so high stakes. The league has drawn a line. Now the response matters. If Clark continues her NBC role without issue, the controversy fades. If the league escalates, backlash is inevitable. Fans are deeply invested in this era of women's basketball. Heavy-handed discipline could spark boycotts, social media storms, and sponsor pressure. But here's the critical part. Escalation helps no one. Calls for resignations, revolutions, or mass cancellations may trend online, but sustainable growth requires negotiation, clarity, and strong governance. The WNBA is in a transformative moment. Mishandling it could damage momentum. Handling it wisely could strengthen the league's long-term credibility. Clark has leverage, yes. She has overseas opportunities, media opportunities, and financial flexibility. But the league also represents the highest platform for women's professional basketball in the United States. Ideally, both sides benefit from collaboration, not conflict. Right now, This isn't just about one warning. It's about how modern leagues manage superstar influence in the creator economy. It's about whether leadership can adapt to a media-driven sports landscape. The world is watching. Major media voices are watching. Fans are watching. And the clock is ticking, not toward destruction, but toward decision. The WNBA has a choice. Double down and risk alienation, or pivot, clarify, and align with the reality that star power fuels growth. Because in today's sports economy, you don't win wars against your own biggest attraction. You build around it. How this ends will define the next decade of women's basketball.